What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Welcome to another best of video, best of 2021 video. I need to stop doing this. That's going to be really off-putting for people. Sorry,
difficult.
It's just a
it's
thing.
Difficult.
Yeah, when you get rid of your £15 Amazon deck chair that stays stationary and you fall through it, and you get one that can actually turn like this. You go, Cam's giving it a bit of a you know what I'm saying. That's it's sorry. I can't help it. I can't help it.
You want to sit like that as well, don't you? Like evil, sort of evil.
Yeah. 100%, real powerful. You know what I mean? Forget all that. Big up to everyone. Hope everyone's safe and sound. Hope everyone's doing good today. This is the next batch. I did say there'll be another one. Best midfielder of 2021. It was an interesting show, to say the least, yesterday. Apologies for being late as well. We were just waiting to get everyone in, so we're all good. Yeah, Cam didn't want to bait him up, but he baited himself up, so it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Luxil says DJ feels left out. DJ ain't got the civil chair. Maybe I don't know. DJ might have one under the Christmas tree, man.
Yeah, for real.
Big massive box. And yeah, look, this one's I think it's going to be a lot different to yesterday. There's a lot of deliberating yesterday. But I have to say, before we talk about the midfielder, I have to say, the unanimous winner from yesterday, we had over 8,000 people on the poll on the community tab on the channel. Vote for Eric Bailly, 47%, Eric Bailly. Luke Shaw, 21%. Victor Lindelof, 25%. Wan-Bissaka, 4%. Harry Maguire, 4%. So Man United's best defender of 2021, as voted for by the United View community, is Eric Bailly, 47%. Just before we get into the midfielder of the year, what's off? Cam, you wasn't there. What's your thoughts hearing that?
I mean, cult hero. Can't say anymore. And I'll carry that on today. I've got my own pick for midfielder of the year. We'll come on to that, but yeah, got to think like the people. So.
Yeah, it is. Owen, was you surprised? Eric Bailly?
Yeah. I was surprised by Eric Bailly, not because, and I don't necessarily disagree with like the sentiment of it. I mean, there is an argument to be made. Maybe Varane's now, the best defender at the club, shall we say? Yeah. But there is certainly a debate worth having that Bailly might be the best defender on his day at the club. The only reason I was surprised of 2021 was just a case of how many games has he actually played in 2021, and usually that would be because injuries and all that kind of stuff. But I don't even think you can say because of injuries, because he's been available for the majority of the year.
He's just not the starter.
He's not. He just doesn't get picked. But I think it goes to show, on Cam's point, that a lot of people like him. And the question before would be, if he can stay fit, he deserves a run in the side. Well, he stayed fit for a while, deserves a run in the side. Will he get that? Who knows what can happen in 2022? Look what happened this year, but I don't know. But it was surprising. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Right, let's get into it. I'm going to start with DJ on this one, actually. A lot of people in the comments saying this shouldn't take long. This video should be about 6 minutes long, if that. DJ, who is your candidate for midfielder of 2021 and why?
I think Scott McTominay, to be fair, man. Nah, it's Bruno, man. Okay. It's Bruno. It's Bruno for me. He's had a few sort of like, quieter games, but at the end of the day, man, the stats, and everyone wants to talk about stats, and stats are always heavily debated, but he puts numbers on the board for the team. Do you know what I mean? And without his contributions, especially in the midfield, I'm not sure where we'd be, man. Obviously, Cristiano's come in and taken a massive part of that load as well, scoring goals and stuff like that. But without Bruno, would Ronaldo be getting some of those goals? So Bruno for me, man. It's easy.
Okay. Cam, let's come to you. You wasn't here yesterday. I want to get you in. Actually, before I come to you, Bice, thanks, Super Chat says, unpopular opinion, but Ed Woodward got it right when he stalled buying Jadon Sancho for 120 million. That would have set Sancho up for failure. A little bit off topic there, but we did discuss that when we ended up getting Sancho for 73 million instead of 120 million. It's funny how things work out. Cam, I don't know. I feel like you look at the game in a different way, so I feel like there could be something different, or is it? I don't know. Cam, what are you saying?
I mean, I'll be honest. It feels like that month where Arsenal did goal of the month and they'd only scored one goal, and it was that penalty. I think it feels a bit like that. I think we all know who's going to win this, but I want to put the case for Van der Beek. I don't think anyone's. I don't think there's been any United player in a long time that's
leaning in people's eyebrow.
Well, I mean, no one else has united the fan base like he has. Every single time he doesn't even have to go on the pitch. And to be fair, that's what happened with Bailly. Probably at that point for defenders, it was whoever's had the least minutes on the pitch this season wins it. And Van der Beek, when he's warming up, that's all he's got to do, warm up and the whole stadium singing his name. I don't think anyone else has got that pull in the entire team. So, I mean, for me, Donny's got to be up there. I think other honourable mentions, I mean, Pogba's been missing half the season, so you can't really talk about him. Matic can't run.
Still 9 games, 7 assists, though, Pogba.
To be fair, yeah, I think it was...
even been
of course, the Henry's assist record, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But, yeah, now he's not playing, so it looks like that's gone. McTominay and Fred, I mean, they've been okay. Fred has played a lot of games this year, so that's good. But, yeah, I think it's got to be Bruno, I think. No debate, is there? People say it's going to be a short video, but yeah.
Santiago says, my guy Cam praising Donny. Someone said on earlier today, just give it to Donny for sentiment reasons. Just give it to him. Just, to have that much patience, be lied to, lose your international place and still be here. You're a good guy. You can win midfielder of the year. Owen, is it Bruno for you?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even think of something. I was thinking, can I do something a bit sort of entertaining, witty, trying to, it's Bruno Fernandez, isn't it? What I did want to say though, when it comes to like stats or whatever, because the criticism of Bruno Fernandez, isn't it? Oh, he's a stat padder, takes penalties, Fernandez, free kicks, all this kind of stuff. And we were just talking about that briefly before we came live about, that balance between stats, what do they actually mean? Or because you can score goals, get assists, and not play well. There is no doubt, and I know this is 2021, but even in the calendar year of 2021, even this season, right? If we're talking about just this season, so second half of 2021, has Bruno had his best time in the United shirt? No, he hasn't.
He's had his worst time.
Yeah, but he's still got goals. He's still got assists. I think we're going into a bit of territory now when it comes to Bruno, where maybe he's overplayed. And he doesn't need to, and the options we have, like a Donny or whatever, we have those options. And it'll be interesting to see where Ralf Rangnick falls on that, because obviously it's difficult to tell how often he's going to play him or not play him. But even at the beginning of this year in, the Ollie tenure, it's just, if we didn't have Bruno Fernandez, I mean, where would United be? Seriously, where would United be? And we haven't been doing that great anyway. So where on earth would we have been without Bruno Fernandez? So it's obviously Bruno. But I did want to say to Cam, obviously, because I mentioned about stats, Statman Cam, what do you think when it comes to stats? Are they overused in football nowadays? Or is sort of, when people talk about Fernandez, they always talk about his assists, his goals. Is there an over-reliance on that, do you think? Or does he do more than just get goals and assists?
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely an over-reliance on like goals and assists, but I think a lot of that comes from just like a lot of stats in general are really complicated. There's some stuff there's some ridiculously smart people coming up with some random stuff that basically by the time you actually look at it on numbers, it means nothing compared to what's actually going on the pitch. You have no idea.
Exactly, just the eye test,
some random numbers. Yeah, and the eye test speaks for a lot, but there are at the same time stats that do measure parts of the eye test. So stuff like progressive passes and all that sort of stuff. You look at that, Bruno's numbers are still good, but the issue again is just that when you see him in context on the pitch, the number of times he gives the ball away when the whole team are ready to sort of go and attack, the whole team is spread out, and he gives it away and we're open, so open. That's the frustration with Bruno, and it means that when he's not playing well, when he's not getting the numbers, it means he's giving the ball away and costing us counterattacks. Rather than giving the ball away and us pressing it, winning it back straight away, that's fine. But giving it away and costing us a counterattack is not fine. And sometimes on the stats, you can't see that sort of stuff, and you do need to be watching it. The eye test is more important in that sense. So I think it's a bit of both. Obviously, goals and assists, people do look at that a little bit too much. But obviously, it's important. That's how you win football matches. But yeah, there is definitely eye test needed as well.
Yeah, I agree. What are you saying, DJ, on the whole, stats and figures and this, that, and the other, and is it a step too far in the modern game with modern football fans, or this generation of social media, and numbers are really easy to be put in front of your face because of technology? What you say?
Man, it's a difficult one. I think if we can sort of like root out the stats that aren't sort of complementary to the eye test, do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you'll see stats of this player's completed 89 pass completion, but how much of that was sideways and backwards? How much of that was actually affecting the game in a positive way for their team? And I've seen literally players get praised on that. Like McTominay might have a good sort of like pass completion, but it's all sideways and backwards passes. It's nothing that's going to be helping the team in the long run. I do think that if we can weed those type of sort of like stats out and focus on the ones that are a bit more sort of realistic, the ones that we can actually see, the ones that are affecting games, then I think there'll be a better measure sometimes of how well players are doing. However, on the flip side, when you look at someone like Cristiano Ronaldo that scores over 800 goals and he was going to sign for a team, there's one thing that is a certainty, is that he scores goals. And that is a very important stat. So sometimes I think stats, some stats aren't really as accurate when it's assigned to a specific player, if that makes sense. So
I hear you on that. I think there's a lot about stats that are just nonsense. You know, so seriously, some of them are so stupid. Like honestly, it's a nonsense. Like some stats, like I don't care what stats you put in front of me, mate. I've seen him play. Like I'll tell you that, like one of them, you know, them old school ones where it's like, so odd. Some stats I'll look at and say, so I've seen him play though. He's crap, mate. Or do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying it just with our players. I'm saying this in general. You can give me that all you want. He ain't good enough or whatever. Yeah. But what I wanted to talk about 2 players today, because obviously the vote is Bruno. My vote's Bruno as well. That's the easy bit. Pogba, I think when he come back last season, to the back end of the season, he kind of pulled us through the Europa League, and his form was really good. I look at early last year when we was top of the table. I think Burnley. I want to say these games were the beginning of
Pogba. Left
winger Pogba. Yeah. I think I want to. Maybe someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Burnley, Villa.
Was the Fulham game 2021?
I can't remember whether that was January or whether it was December. But obviously, if it was 2020 December, then fair enough. I won't count it. But I do remember him in and around that time, early this year, through to the end of the season, doing quite well. Then actually, when he started this season, AC Milan, he pulled us through as well, come off the bench and scored. Then actually, this season, he started on fire first couple of games. Do you know what I mean? You got like you said,
it was in January 2021.
It was January 2021, them games.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was then. So I thought so. So he for the first half of this year, he actually done really well leading into the summer. Then he came back after pre-season and actually did well in the first few games. Then obviously, bam, it went all the way down from there. Not playing well. We were losing games. Then he gets the big injury. So a bit of an honorary mention to him because I just feel like when at that point when we were on our asses and it was like we couldn't really accommodate Pogba in the central midfield at that time, and Rashford was injured, I think, at the time. It was like get him on the left, and he just made it his own for quite a few games. So it's more of an honorary mention to Pogba because I do think that Bruno's been more consistent, definitely, and affected the games more often than Pogba has. But it's almost like someone said it there, like purple patches. It's like it sums up Man United. It sums up Man United really, purple patches. I mean, even doing this midfielder of the year, we haven't achieved anything. We didn't win anything. There's nothing really to shout about. But in the context of in behind closed doors within ourselves, within our own club, we can get into it. But really, no one's really. Bruno does his thing. I get that. But other than that, what's really going on in our midfield? I will give an honorary mention to Fred. You know I will because he's my guy. I like Fred. And he's having a really good season this year. And just in general, Fred yes, there's games where we're like, oh, did you see that pass Fred done? He gave it away. But by and large, he's about, man. He's really important to how we want to play. Even going forward with the better manager now and how this manager wants to build, I guarantee Fred's really important to that. With how Rangnick wants to shape that. So he's always kind of a constant in the midfield, someone who kind of sets the pace, sets the tone. He can just be everywhere. It's not perfect. Of course, we need better. But honorary mentions to them. But on Bruno, I just feel like, obviously since he's come to the club, that's not what this discussion is about, but he's just been so influential. And even in his bad moments that he's frustrating us now and, he could be in a bit of trouble under Rangnick if he keeps giving the ball away. We need to refine that. He's still having a say. You know what I mean? Yeah. Pops up with a goal against Arsenal. That's what I was going to say. Do you think he can be as influential as he has been under Solskjaer, under Rangnick?
Because his role's changed. His role's changed, hasn't it? He's not being played in the same position as he was with Solskjaer. At Solskjaer, he was a 10, but he was shadow striker 10. He might as well have been a centre forward.
Yeah, he's not up there now.
Rangnick, he's not. He's in that 4-2-2 in those sort of, they're not number 10s, but they're not wingers. They're meant to sort of, I mean, Cam will know better than me, but they're meant to more sort of initiate the press as well. And sometimes, I mean, you saw it against Norwich, certainly, whereby I don't know if he's not totally familiar with the role. Yeah, or he's a bit, and then he starts forcing stuff. And once he starts forcing stuff, that's when you get those Hollywood passes that don't pay out or anything like that. But I mean, Cam, what do you think? Do you think he can be as influential under Rangnick?
Honestly, I don't see him being that influential, mainly because I think Sancho will come and start doing absolute bits like Bruno's doing at the moment. I think Sancho's perfectly made for that position. I think he's the perfect balance between being creative enough to play in the middle and be able to go on the outside, go out wide, and start doing things as well. And I think Bruno also is going to have to be restrained. I've said so many times he's a bit like Coutinho in the sense that everything goes through him, just high volume, send everything to him. He has the shots, he makes the passes, all that sort of stuff. I think mentally as well, that's what he needs at the moment. He needs to be conditioned to sort of get used to it when he hasn't got the ball all the time. A bit like Grealish at City. He's taken a while to adjust to all of a sudden not being given the ball all the time, not being expected to do everything. And sometimes you do see Jack Grealish have quite quiet games when he's playing out on the wing for City. But no one panics because it's Guardiola. Everyone knows what's going on. Every player's got their role in the team. So it could well be that, we don't see Bruno doing the same numbers he was doing before. And I don't think that's a problem. I think the big bit, though, is getting through to his mentality personally, because it seems like him, obviously, all the videos we see, all the interviews we see from him, he wants everything. He wants to be driving the whole team all the time. And when he gets frustrated, he starts making decisions that cost everyone. He starts then hitting the Hollywood passes, as you said. And when he loses the ball, he goes and presses by himself, leaves that whole side of the pitch completely exposed. Once he gets that out of him and realizes, actually, I can trust the rest of the team, can trust what Rangnick wants us to do. I know that if I give the ball to these guys, even if it's a 10-yard pass, I can then move somewhere else, trust them to do their thing, and the ball will come back to me if it's the right thing to do. But at the moment, I think he's still in the same mindset he's been under Ole, where he has to do everything, otherwise nothing's getting done. And I think once he learns to sort of improve himself, he'll be a bit more like De Bruyne. He can function in that system. But I think it's going to take a lot of... I think it takes a long time anyway to change his natural habits, and especially when it's natural habits that have rewarded him so well in the past year, it's going to be really difficult for anyone to come in and make him see that he needs to change and then actually make him change as well. Because there will be times when it doesn't work as a team and he is going to get frustrated, like everyone will get frustrated. And if he reverts to type, that's going to cause us a problem. Sometimes he's going to have to just say, you know what, I'll keep making the right decisions, trust the others. If it doesn't work, it's not my fault, but that's okay. And that's how we get better as a team rather than just relying on Bruno. So I think it's going to take a long time to improve him, but hopefully we can get there.
Yeah, I think this formation's actually, I kind of disagree, Cam, and it's kind of nuts to disagree with you because you know your stuff, but I do think that this formation kind of will highlight, and I think Eagle Eye Football they're saying will highlight Bruno's flaws. I think it highlights his strengths in the sense of he's always wanting to initiate a press and be a part of a press. I think the issue with under Solskjaer was he was doing it sort of lone soldier. He was doing it by himself, which was exposing the midfield. I think obviously with him being part of the two sort of like inside 10s or whatever you want to call them, and then have the 2 6s behind, obviously they always move in that sort of like rectangle box formation when they're pressing. I think that helps Bruno because he's not doing it by himself. And I think if we do what Rangnick wants to do, and that is sort of win the ball high up, turn over the ball within a couple of seconds and get a shot on goal or a pass or an assist or something, he is the perfect man on the edge of the box if you can get the ball to him once you've won the ball to thread that killer pass or thread that killer shot. And I think this formation may be refining those sort of scattergun approaches that we've known from Bruno into more of an actual system instead of it being very ad hoc and very random. So that's just my take on it.
No, I agree. I think he's gonna have to be reined in. I've said it before Rangnick even come. Even when Bruno's flying under us doing madness, I just stand by what I said. And I think we're kind of seeing it now that, like I said, he's got a playing style that when the goals and assists dry up, his way of playing is not a way of playing that helps the team build on performances, build in dominance, build in balance, build in things that Ralf Rangnick has spoke about wanting to build on. The way that Bruno plays is not that. So it has to change. It has to change. Yes, in the right moments, don't change his willingness to play that ball with the outside of his boot, to hit that diagonal when it's on, or play that ball around the corner first time and Marcus Rashford through. Not saying don't tell him don't take any risks. You don't want players being too robotic and too, like overcoached. You want players to express themselves. But for the team, he's got to change, and he's got to change quick, especially for this system. For me, Eagle Eye Football says Ralph's system will highlight Bruno's flaws, in my opinion. Palace fan there. Appreciate that. And Blue Abadai says, this isn't FIFA where you can put pass error 0. Bruno doesn't know if the passes are good or not. He can't pick which ones make it or not. All he can do is try his best. Yeah, he can definitely try his best, but he can also be conditioned to know when to try them and when to shorten up his passing or make his passing quicker and crisper in terms of play the easy 10-yard pass forward. Play the first pass you see instead of waiting for the money shot. Do you know what I mean? Play percentage football, as they call it. CM2 Ents 22 Ents says put Bruno in the positions to simplify decisions. 100%. And David Naheen says Bruno has to trust the team and stay composed. Exactly. It's like he gets. It's like after a little while of not having it, it's like he gets itchy to try and I need to try something.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, when you do things as consistently as he does them, even if they're not working, something's gonna happen at some stage. You know, he's got good technique. You know, he's got good weight of pass. He's good at these things. He is. I just think for the way that we want to start controlling games, he needs to be part of, and the rest of them. Same with McTominay, same with Fred. They all need to be better on the ball. I'm not picking out Bruno. They've got to be more disciplined and make better decisions with and without the ball, especially in terms of spaces as well. Ray Diaz says, every other player, let's give them a shot with Rangnick. Bruno, oh man, he needs to be reined in. Not sure I follow the thought process. Smash a like. Appreciate that. And Santiago says, who put Donny on the bench? Not a poll option. Yeah, I know, right? He's not. Just to let you guys know, it's pinned in the comments. Go and vote now. We had over 8,000 people voting for the best defender of the year at United, and that was won by Eric Bailly. Quite surprising, but it was. The people have spoken. It's pinned up now in the community tab as well on the channel. So let's see if we can get over 8,000 responses on there as well, and choose yours. I mean, already, let me just keep you guys filled in with what's going on. Already, it's a unanimous Bruno Fernandez. I think this was going to be the easiest one out of all of them, really.
Yeah. With the Bruno one as well,
67%.
Though, is there if maybe he wouldn't, he's not going to be as influential in the 4-2-2? Is there a solution where instead of him playing in that, whatever you want to call it, the wide 10, could you not just put him up front with Ronaldo? And him be essentially a version of a false 9 up there. That's what he was doing anyway under Solskjaer. Look at someone like, but you look at someone like Roberto Firmino. He was an attacking midfielder when he came to Liverpool. You know, at Hoffenheim, he was a 10, and it's just Klopp plays with a false 9 to initiate the press. If we got two players up front, Ronaldo, he's playing up front with Ronaldo anyway. Maybe it's better off him just playing up front with Ronaldo as the two strikers because he's going to press from the front, and then that opens up whatever that extra 10 spot is. And maybe that's how, I mean, Cam's not very keen on, Rashford maybe playing in that role. Maybe he's not technically viable to play in that role, but I don't know. Maybe that's the way that Bruno's going to evolve in this new system, is that he's not going to be a 10 anymore. He's going to turn into a 9 or a false 9.
It could be.
Yeah, that'll work so well. I think that'll be possibly his best position in this. I think Donny van de Beek could also be really, really good in that role. I think DJ's gone again. Simbin himself.
He's still there though. That's weird. He's still there. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that role will be great for both Van de Beek and Bruno alongside Ronaldo in that system, because I think then Ronaldo's always been best when he's played as a striker alongside someone else. His best years were alongside Benzema doing all the traditional sort of number 9 duties. Bruno can do that potentially. Van de Beek can do that. I think it's just probably a better role for them than the wide 10, and then it gives wide 10 probably to Jesse Lingard, I think. So I think that's why, you know how we've seen the rumours in the last few days Lingard might stay. I think he's probably looking at this team now saying that, hang on, behind Bruno and Sancho, he's probably first choice for that role. Him and Ahmad are probably the next two options. The only ones that can really play there. So I think that might well be why Lingard's thinking he's staying now. Maybe not even the club being like, no, you're not leaving. It might be him sitting.
He might think, yeah,
I've got a chance here,
Bice Byron says, who's you guys' favourite player in the current squad? Apologies, Bice Byron. I read your first super chat, which was about Ed Woodward. I missed that one, so apologies, bro. Bice Byron, yeah. Who's your guys' favourite current player in the squad? Good thing KG ain't here. We know who that is. Rashford. Owen, who's your favourite player in the squad?
I don't know. I'm not, you know, but this isn't just a football thing. I don't have favourites in anything. People ask me what's your favourite film. People ask me what's your favourite anything. I just go like, it depends on the day. Depends on the day. I'll just go goalkeepers because he's playing goal. So I'll always back the goalkeeper. I'll go to Gea. But that's because my favourite players growing up has always been like Van der Sar, Peter Schmeichel. It's always been that.
Yeah, Kuszak. I know what you mean.
Yeah, Ben Foster. I'm watching the YouTube channel all the time.
DJ, who's your favourite player in the squad?
Sancho, man. I've always been a big fan of his. Obviously, he's South London, just like me. So, yeah, Sancho for me, man. Top player.
Easy one for you. Cam?
Probably Mason Greenwood for me. I think he's just so good. Just ice cold. You know, when he gets a chance in front of goal, he's probably going to score both feet. So good with his head as well. Retains the ball so nicely. Brilliant player.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like Owen in terms of like my out and out favourite. I tend not usually to have him, but people know that Varane's my guy, innit? I just need him to, positive news from Ralf Rangnick today saying, they're all back apart from Pogba, which is really good to hear. They're all in contention. Cavani back in. And that's the positive that has come out of him having extra time with the players, is the fact that he can, some players who were injured had extra time to get ready. But Varane, man, what's he only played like, 6 games? Something like that. But I just got a really good feeling. I could be completely wrong. But yeah, I'd say Varane. But out of the players that are more traditional Man United that are there, I don't really have a favourite, man.
That's fine. I'm the same. I just never. That's never been my thing. I've always been
probably Mason though. If I was to choose one, because he's young, he's up and coming, he's fresh. I can't wait. I'm just so excited year on year to just see the growth. See, like I want to be looking back in 5 years' time, saying, "Wow, look where he is now! Like he's killing it for us. He's the main striker, or whatever it may be." Do you know what I mean? So I'd probably say Mason, but Varane
said Ronaldo, by the way.
Yeah, because Ronaldo's like he's just got it. He's Ronaldo, isn't it? Like I think it's like a
how could your favorite be God? How could your favorite?
It's like cliche. It's like an easy answer, isn't it? Like
it's an easy
Ronaldo.
One.
Like Ronaldo's like. It's a full on.
It's like picking your kids. It's like picking your kids. That's unconditional love. I don't have to pick. That's unconditional.
Look, they were saying it there. They say no Ronaldo, guys. No one said Ronaldo. Fuming double H. It's not that obviously we don't rate Ronaldo. Of course we do. Absolutely. It's just I just think that's a given, isn't it? He's just unbelievable.
He was my favorite player in year 9. Year 9, he was my favorite player. Yeah.
Like Abab says there, Ronaldo is favoured by default. Like he's just
there you go.
Of course. Like, so I think to make the conversation a little bit more interesting, it's better to just kind of open it out a little bit. Digimon 14 says like Martial alongside Ronaldo because of the hold-up play. Imagine a really in form Martial that clearly look. There's talks about him leaving. The talks have began. He's gonna go at some stage, but so we need to take that attachment out. He's going to leave the football club eventually, fairly soon. But when he is in form, how good could that be, though? That would be nice. A really fit and firing Martial who's sharp and on it with a buzzing Ronaldo. I like that.
Yeah, I could have seen that, but he's just better technically than Rashford, in my opinion. Anyway, he has a lot of the attributes that Rashford's still struggling to sort of reach. Terms of being strong enough to hold off defenders, being able to pin a defender with his back to the defender, turn, pace. He has it all. He literally has it all. It's just maybe application, maybe a little bit of bad luck. There's so many different variables around Martial. But imagining him up front with Ronaldo, and even if we looked to the future, if Ronaldo ever did move on, him and Mason top form, and if they're fulfilling their potential, that'd be crazy as well. So yeah.
That's true. And Blue Abadie says, where was this constructive criticism of Bruno when he was saving us every other week? But now all of a sudden we get an interim manager. Everybody wants Bruno to change. Cam, do you want to respond to what Blue Abadie saying there?
Get him.
I mean, to be honest, I think we've been saying this the whole time, haven't we? I think it's I don't think it's anything new. It's just that obviously now it's a bit more noticeable. I think what would probably sum it up, I think I've got some stats up here I've just found that against Palace, which was probably our best performance under Rangnick. If you compare that to Norwich, Palace, we allowed only 9 touches for them in our penalty area, which is incredible. That's the best of the season by a long, long way. To put it in context, the week before against Chelsea, we let them have 49, which is horrendous. I don't know how we got a point. That's mental. But yeah, we only 9 against Palace, which was ridiculous. In that game, Bruno's pass completion was 74%, which is fairly average for him, about the usual rate. Against Norwich, which was the next game under Rangnick, it was 62%. So it's dropped a good 10%, and that pretty much was a big factor in why we had so many more. They had so many more touches in our box, and we didn't have the control we wanted. Because if you go into every game and you only let them have 10 touches in your box, over a season you're not going to concede many goals, unless all 10 of those touches are incredible 1v1 shooting chances, which they're just not going to be. You're not going to concede that many goals. But I mean, and that's why that performance was so good. It was so controlled. And as Rangnick said, obviously a couple of those were good chances that they had, but that will happen from time to time. But if you do that across the season, it's good. Whereas against Norwich, we had so much less control. Bruno's pass completion so much worse. And again, his pass completion, the important bit is his short pass completion is pretty much always above 88, 90%. It's the long passes that go wrong. And the problem is when you've got that front six, the two defensive mids, the two wide playmakers, the two strikers, they're all fairly close together under Rangnick. The whole idea of the opposite wide man is always the fullback. So if you're going for a long ball to that, to try and go for one of the front six or that wide man, the fullback on the opposite side, and it goes wrong, all your team's on the opposite half of the pitch to the ball. So it's almost impossible to press that straight away. So I think that's where, as we said, that's where he's got to improve. And it is being backed up a little bit by the numbers, it's being backed up a little bit by the eye test. But as the guy said, when he's putting the numbers up to win us every game, we're not going to say it so much. We were saying it, but obviously it's more noticeable now under a new manager when we're in a little bit of a rougher spell.
Owen, is it unfair to kind of like what I'm Abadiah's saying, like we didn't care before, and now all of a sudden you want him to change? Has he got a point?
Again, like going back to Cam's point, I think these have always been things that people have pointed out about Bruno. And again, I don't think it's like, I certainly speaking for myself, I don't think any of us are like going in on Bruno. We all just named him Player of 2021. We're hardly saying he's shit. Everyone's giving him the award unanimously. And again, these criticisms have always been there. It's a bit like the Wan-Bissaka thing, isn't it? You know, you say it initially earlier on and you go, oh, you might need to improve on that. And then when it's 2 years down the line and it's still similar things and maybe you're not playing as well, those deficiencies, they get highlighted even more. You know, everyone can overlook anything if you're playing well and you're doing well. People can go, oh, probably need to fix that, but, you know, we're winning. Who cares? When you're not winning, people go, no, seriously now, you need to fix that. That's like, you know, and that's life, not just football. That's how it works. So, you know, I don't think anyone's going in on Bruno. It's just a case of there is a different manager. There's a different system. He'll need to adapt, like a lot of people will need to adapt. And I think maybe it's highlighted even more is because we're so conscious that we want him to adapt because we know how good he is. We don't want it to go wrong for Bruno Fernandez at Manchester United because if he can adapt to this system, we know his quality. And if anything, he'll become a better player because of it, because he would actually be working on his deficiencies. I want to see Bruno Fernandez as influential as he was last season in this new Rangnick system, because we've got Ronaldo in there as well. They're both very influential. Plus, we've got like people like Jadon Sancho. So if they're being influential as well, and Bruno's at the peak of his game, we can do stuff. I mean, the season isn't over yet. It's only December. We're still in the Champions League. We're still in the FA Cup. We want to get in the top four. So I think by pointing out deficiencies, we can go to every player in this team and point out deficiencies. It's not saying that they're terrible, we don't like them or anything like that. It's just that's opinion, isn't it? That's
areas where they can improve,
given their opinions. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Vice Byron says Martial seems to perform well when he is the talisman, e.g. the Van Gaal season and 1920. When you kind of put that arm around him and say he's the main guy, you are my guy. I do get that. That is when he's had his best seasons, especially that one under Ollie as well. When you know all those players left, he got his 9 shirt back. And he really went to town that season, and he struggled since after that season, to be fair. It's just the consistency of Martial, and I don't know, I've backed him a lot. I think there's a lot of ability there, technically 100% with the ball at his feet and how he understands the game, how he can look after the ball. He's ahead of a lot of our players. Players, but there's got to be a reason why it's so hot and cold. You know, I watched Martial with my own eyes every game he's played pretty much since he's come, and I don't know, man. I just don't see a player who either truly believes that he can hit the level or just it maybe isn't as good as we think. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's okay to say I've really put him on a super duper high pedestal. Maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. I think he's good on his day, can be good on his day. If you give him the chance, he can take it. Equally, if you give him a chance, or want him to be consistent involved in the game, he might underwhelm you. He just can give you a little bit of anything. It's almost like a little bit of a lottery, and I'm not really sold on that. And he's been here a long time, so if he doesn't want to stay and to continue to try and prove why he should play ahead of Sancho, ahead of Ronaldo, ahead of Cavani, ahead of Rashford, there's a lot of competition there. Fair, it's his right. I definitely don't, give him stick for saying, "Oh, he didn't fancy the fight. Oh, get out of here." I'm not one of those. I'm not one of the in the camp of that. There's a lot of fans who say that. Mate, sod him. He's it's cold. He's got his gloves on. He's moping about. Hardly moves. Not interested. I'm not. I'd see way more to him than that. I do. I see way more to. I'm not in that camp. But if you don't want to stay and fight through all of that competition, yeah, you're entitled to leave. You want to go play football, innit? That's how I see it. But I do think he can be a very good player. Can be a very good player, but I've been saying that for ages. So I'm prepared to see him go somewhere else and risk him being this world beater, then let him just keep staying here just for the sake of it. It is what it is. I don't think we necessarily have to blame him. It's just he's had his 6 years. He's had some good moments, some really fan favorite cult hero moments. Consistently, he hasn't done it like a lot of players haven't done it. So we're in that kind of cycle of who has been consistent, who can you really nail down and go after and say, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. Nobody's really been consistent under this whole time post Sir Alex, which is what we're trying to sort out now. Do you know what I mean? And if players don't want to stay and fight for that, do you know what I mean? See you later. What about next year in terms of ones to watch out for in midfield? Could 2022, what new candidates could we have? Obviously, yes, we might get someone in January who, that could change everything. But, your Scott McTominay, Fred, Pogba, even if he signs and stays past this season, Donny van der Beek. Who do you reckon in the midfield could have a massive season or massive year? Yeah.
I think potentially, Fred, and maybe even Van der Beek if he does get a chance. I think it's quite telling that.
Sorry, KG.
Yeah, I see him.
He's here. Only here for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Propaganda. Smash the bomb. Sorry.
You just won't leave it alone.
We'll get to him in a minute. Carry on what you were saying. He won't leave.
Yeah, I do think Fred and Van der Beek may have an interesting year next year. Fred more so because obviously the system is literally it's perfect for him. It's what he's about, pressing and trying to be aggressive and win the ball. Van der Beek more so because it's just been really telling that Rangnick wanted to keep him, and he's vocalized that quite firmly. I believe he's put it out there in the press. Yeah, I want to keep Van der Beek. So if Rangnick, a very a good coach, tactically sound manager, wants to keep Van der Beek, it might mean that something's on the horizon. Maybe Donny really is going to come alive 2022. I hope so. Anyway, whether that and I do think he's going to maybe play Donny in obviously one of the 10 positions because he has been coming on a lot for Bruno. I know 70th minute, 80th minute, but still he is coming on for Bruno. So maybe Rangnick's looking to maybe push Bruno further up. I think that there's a case for that and have Donny play in one of the 10 roles.
A lot of people are picking up Fred, saying it's going to be a big year 2022 for Fred. Any takers on that?
Yeah, could be, absolutely. It depends though as well, doesn't it? Under Rangnick, we've already seen it's difficult to say still because it's only been he's played 2 games under Rangnick, but certainly the system and the philosophy that Rangnick has is perfectly suited to someone like Fred. But also as well, if we're talking about 2022, we're talking about sort of 6 months or 5 months or whatever of having Rangnick. We could be getting we might be getting a new manager in halfway through this year. That kind of changes the conversation completely. We were talking about Bruno, we're talking about all of these players. If a Pochettino comes in, he might just go back to playing Bruno as a 10, normal 10. He might have Fred playing or wants to have Fred playing a different way as well. So it's almost, this is the crazy thing with United at the moment. It's really difficult to predict anyway because we've been really inconsistent, but also the players themselves don't really know what the future holds for them, really, because they don't know who their manager is going to be in 6 months' time.
That's very, very true. We'll have to change it all again. KG said, I unzipped my pocket and Cam fell out. Cam, he's coming. I mean, I don't know. Do I need to put him on a community timeout? He's come to the chat with a lot of toxicity, threatening people. I think I should put him on a. Where is he? I'm going to time him out. Where's KG? Can I do that?
I'll let him go for it.
Put user on a timeout. Maybe I should do that. No, I'm joking. Yeah, he didn't like what you had to say about Marcus Rashford. He was very offended. Didn't agree with you. And he did say the next time he really hoped you could have. He thought he was dodging him yesterday. When I told him that you couldn't make yesterday's stream, he said, "Yeah, he was ready. He's ready for you." So I think I want to on some of the shows in the coming week or two or whatever, when he's back or whatever, we'll have to get you to
the great debate. That's what I think it should be called, Flex. The great debate, man. Just them two. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think KG would do much debating. Just the great defense. I think. No. Do you know what I mean?
Getting so we'll have to see star signs as well. Are you a Sagittarius by any chance? Because he'll throw that out there.
I'm not.
Cam, you missed it, mate. It was brilliant viewing. Excuse the pun. Bryce Byron says, shot in the dark, but I'm saying hairdryer or Haidara if he comes to Man United. Yeah, I mean, Cam, quickly on the midfield before we kind of wrap this up. Obviously, Bruno. Let me double check on the thing to make sure there's nothing crazy that's happened. It's still surely going to be Bruno. Midfield. What type of midfielder do you think we should look to bring? So I was talking about this with Owen on one of the shows. I can't remember which one it was, and we were sort of saying the one that we needed under Ollie, might be a bit different to the one that we now need under Rangnick. And then Rangnick was quoted. I think it's Laurie Whitwell. One of the journalists was sort of saying he wants a tall midfielder, Bellingham and Rice. He likes the usual whatever. We know this. What type of midfielder do you think we actually need now?
I mean, yeah, I think under Ollie, we're all pretty much agree we want just someone who can anchor it, just sit there, sit in front of the defence, win the ball back, just pass it forwards to Pogba and Bruno, and that's about it, really. They don't have to be an incredible player, just someone that can do that job well, give us a 7 out of 10 every week. That's all we want from them. But now I think it's pretty clear we want someone different. I think what we've seen already from Fred is that, realistically, Fred now is doing nothing different, really, to what he was doing 3-4 months ago.
No, he's not. Exactly.
The system's better for him. If you look at Jorginho, for example, like at Chelsea, he's not that good of a player. He's got about 3 strengths, and he very rarely gets exposed because he's in the system that protects him. That's what Fred's probably actually a better player than Jorginho. Maybe not as good a passer, but in a lot of other aspects, he's better than Jorginho at football. But he's got a lot of weaknesses as well. If you put him in a system that masks them, fine. He's going to start to play well. So I think it's pretty clear that Rangnick wants a system where he's got two defensive mids that are both mobile, can both get about the pitch, both cover each other, both press high, both be disciplined. And it doesn't really matter sometimes if they are a little bit sloppy, because Fred is a little bit sloppy at times. So as long as we get another midfielder that's similar to that, then it can let him play his system. So I don't think we necessarily need a Declan Rice anymore. I mean, to be fair, I think the improvement Rice has done in the last year, 18 months, he could probably play that role. He's a lot more mobile than he was. He's a lot better at passing on both feet. He's a lot better in terms of getting out to players rather than just sitting in this spot. He will go out and pressure players when he needs to. So Rice could do the job. Jude Bellingham would be good. I think any of these, I think Kamara, I don't know how you say it, Kamara, whatever you say, and hairdryer as well as we're looking at. But yeah, any
if he actually comes, he has no idea there's a whole bit of the fan base ready to call him hairdryer. Well, not a bit of the fan base, KG.
Yeah, but I think that's the sort of player we need now. Someone who's mobile, who runs about a lot, can press, and is okay on the ball. Don't have to be a world beater, just okay on the ball. And that's what we want. So I think, it's a different type of defensive mid to what we wanted before. KG is ready. I'm ready.
Cam has accepted the challenge. Well, don't worry, I'm going to line that up. Where you two can sort out your differences, your football differences. Ken says, Cam, you're wrong. Jorginho can ball. I think if you look at Jorginho, I'd agree though. There's a lot of limitations in his game. He just keeps it very, very simple, which again, that is a plus. But the way Fred can get about the pitch and intercept, and kind of put a team on the front foot, Jorginho can't do that. Like Jorginho, like you said, he needs to be protected, so he's got time and space in the ball to just keep systems.
You wouldn't have Jorginho as a ball-winning midfielder, would you? You'd have him as a deep-line playmaker. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with Fred. Would you have Fred as a deep-line playmaker? No chance. No chance. We tried to. Ball-winning midfielder. Basically. Yeah, exactly. It's different. It's different roles in the sixth position, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think even with Jorginho, like he's a deep line playmaker, but his long range passing is not that good. It's nothing special. He's very good at controlling the tempo, making sort of 10, 15-yard passes. But his long passing is nothing special. He's just in a team that he's perfect for the job he's asked to do. And that's what you want from a system.
Same in the Italy team as well, how he does it. He's just he's a decent player with the ball at his feet. And if you get the right system around him, he's gonna thrive. Which is testament to the managers who that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Make a player who might be average or a little bit above average look really, really good. Do you know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do. So yeah, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Wicked show, man. Unanimously, it's Bruno Fernandez, the best midfielder. 66%. You know, it's so far and wide. I can't wait to do the forward. Can't wait to do the forward of 2021 because I think that's where it really gets meaty. You know, Ronaldo's only been here since the summer, but you know, you could talk about him. Obviously, Rashford's been in and out. Greenwood, Cavani. There's a lot to talk about. Let me just get this last super chat out here. No midfielder in the top 5 European leagues has more goals than Bruno, has more non-penalty goals than Bruno, has more assists than Bruno, has more big chances than Bruno, and you want him to change. And Blue Abadi is sticking by his guns with Bruno, and Bruno can do no wrong, and Bruno is playing perfectly fine, and just leave him the way he is. That's Blue Abadi. He's riding out. You know what I mean? He's coming with the stats. He's coming with the facts. Leave Bruno alone. You do not want him to change, he's saying. Guys, we've got a Christmas giveaway coming out, so keep your eyes peeled tomorrow. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, right? We have a nice giveaway. I will let you guys know shortly what you can win. So look out for a post on that on Instagram, and there'll be a little video going around about how you can enter and what you can win. I'm excited about that. And tomorrow we'll be doing the Christmas quiz as well. So look out for details about that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Really, really fun. And then we've got the like I said, the next video of the forward of 2021. I mean, I really want to get Cam and KG definitely in that. Rotem says Cam and KG in Celebrity Deathmatch. No, we don't want any of them dying, but we do want
to.
Octagon.
In the Octagon, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, UFC settings.
Exactly. And as KG says, smash a like, people. Make sure you guys do as we wrap up, man. We've got over 500 people watching and probably nowhere near that, about 180 likes exactly. So hit a like if you haven't done that already. And thanks for watching, peeps. We will be back tomorrow. Like I say, Christmas quiz, 6 p.m. It's going to be a load of fun. It's going to be a load of vibes. And yeah, see you then, guys. We're out. Peace.